Hello, welcome to Bars and Bells. My name is Ian and I'm filling in for Lauryn today in the strength and swing kettlebell class. And often I'd check in on that session either from away or just behind the door, and I'd hear Lauryn do that, and I wanted to say hello to Lauryn and say hello to you out there as well. Today's class will have our kettlebell. For me, that's a 24 kilogram weight. I'm honestly a little out of practice on my kettlebell skills. We're going to work on bodyweight versions for our hinges, lunges, and squats, alternating with sets of heavy holds and some upper body strength. Join me on the floor as we start to explore our breath in a position that's comfortable for you. I'll be starting in my Siza sit. Siza! Little crash down for now. We'll try to fix that in the end. Breathe in out of that nose. Exhale through the mouth through the nose. But then breathe in through the nose. Exhale through the nose. Repeat for 4 breaths. 4 seconds into the belly for the first one. Exhale. Into the chest for the second one. Exhale. Repeat one more time in the belly, breath in. Exhale. And last time into the chest up here, breath in. Exhale. And shake it out. Going forward for our last part of the breathing drills for today, we'll take 4-second inhales to the belly and hold, followed by a 4-second inhale to that chest. Don't start quite yet. On the breath belly, I'd like you to feel the fullness coming forward and back. And then when you breathe into that chest or lungs up top, look for that nice expansion, east, west, or left and right. I'm going to adjust my stance, finally getting into that Siza sit. And for a couple repetitions in a row, the breath. 1 hand on the belly, 1 hand on the chest. Take a 4-second inhale to the belly and hold. Breathe into the chest. Exhale. Repeat a 4-second belly breath. Hold. 4-second inhale up top if allowed. Exhale. 2 more for today. Big belly breath in. Hold. Chest breath in. Exhale. So relaxing, I've lost track. Let's do 1 more. Breath into the belly, 4 seconds. And then breath into the chest for 4 seconds. And exhale. Together, Laura and I have been exploring our breath, working on those calming, relaxing techniques, and they also help us prepare for bike rides, runs around town, or help us recover from much of the same. Use your breath and find those abs. From this position, if you're not in that Siza sit, let's put our hands on our butt cheeks here and extend forward. Then can we tuck those toes underneath? I'll do a quarter turn here. So tuck those toes and sit back. From there, could we use the hands if we need, or unassisted, find our toes? Then where could you find your heels? And then nice and slow, stand up. From there, let's find our toes again. And then slowly lower, pushing energy into those toes like we will on our lunges. And then extend the hips through, flatten toes, and back to our sit. 1 more time. Extend the hips, tucking those toes, hands or no hands as we go back to our sit. Trying to keep my hands in tight because that's harder. Ooh, you might fall. But then from here, let's stand up. Find those balance points 1 more time. Knees down, bending as we go. Knees to the floor, extending those hips. And then let's just hinge and place those hands on the floor for our first hard style plank of the day. Gripping the floor, elbow pits forward, shoulders out of our ears. Tuck under those hips, lengthen out one leg. Press the toe tip there into the ground. Just hold for time. Woo! Can you make your core shake a little bit? Ease off the tension, bring underneath. Keep the toe tip on the ground as you extend the hip. And from our high planks position here, or modified plank with that knee, press that toe tip into the ground to turn on those abs. And pull. Repeat that one more time. Find a way to create tension by pulling the floor together. Contact that toe tip to the ground. Pull the toe into the ground there. Try to turn those abs on with a shake. And then knee forward. One final time on the other side. Extend the knee and the hip. Press that toe into the ground. Create tension between the ground and you. And then coast it away and bring the knees underneath. From here, let's just push our bum to the ceiling. You might pedal those ankles again here and just say hello to our first down dog or our elephant crawl. From here, take a step, left arm, right leg, or opposites, but opposite arm to leg, and then take your step the other way. I'm trying to drive my action through my hands as I push from the heel of my hand to the ball of my hand, then fingertips land. A couple more. Play with that nice wrist extension, or walk yourself backwards for a couple extra. Feel that nice length through the hamstrings. From here, let's walk out to just one high plank. Hold for 10 seconds or less, squeezing your butt cheeks, bracing your core, and setting intention for strong engaged abs in today's practice. Take your time coming down. Let's flip over into that cuddle. First, we'll perform one body weight get up per side. In the cuddle, we pack that shoulder. We roll and press. From there, extend the hip. Pull yourself to tall. Tall sit. Tall sit, sweep. Windmill lunge. Find square. Stand up tall. Repeat, coming down. Leg you can touch. Drop and down with control. Then open up to the side. I'm blending into that door. It's a little bit dark here. We'll work on that too. Lean over top. Sit through in the tall sit. Find the elbow. Core brace. And down. Let's just switch our side here and we'll end up standing tall. Extend that hip, shoulder, hip move as a team. Pull on the floor. Transition to your tall sit. Packing shoulders as we go. Bridging, sweeping, getting tall, squaring up, standing tall. I just see a comment. I just would like to say hello. Excellent. Get ready to use that bell. Let's get ready to use that bell right now. So we're going to stand over top of our kettlebell, comme ça. Hand parallel with those feet. Set up your hip hinge. Lauryn cues it well by shooting those hips back, keeping those shins vertical. Now from here, place one hand on your kettlebell where you intend to grab it. Are you looking like me? Or are you looking like me here? Let go. Come up barehanded. Little wiggle. Same thing on the other side. Set up that hip hinge, butt back. A little bit of a chin tuck perhaps. Then, with the opposite arm, grab the kettlebell. Check your position of the opposite shoulder to the kettlebell. Is it open in a rotation, or are you nice and closed, feeling engaged on the core? Body weight, up. How'd that feel? Anti-rotation. Let's set up that hip hinge again. Grip that kettlebell like you want to pick it up. But actually, push weight down into that handle. Does the wrist feel like it's in a strong position? Keeping the head and neck neutral, As allowed, take a step backwards, but maintain the shoulder over the wrist. Did you maintain square? How's the wrist feeling? Heavy in the armpit? Respect what's going on at the wrist. For one more time, you might be able to back up just a little bit more and maintain those nice square shoulders. Hold that high tension plank, and then inchworm or hinge back in, barehanded, and come up. I did my dominant hand first, so I might not be able to walk as far back in that extended version, but here we go to try. Switch your hand, set up the hip hinge. Place a single hand on the bell, check the alternate shoulder or the one opposite the kettlebell, and rotate to center. Press down. We'll pick it up, I promise. But first, push down and feel a nice stretch, load in the wrist. From here, as appropriate, walk back. Are you still square? Chuck a chin, core brace, and then slowly, you might walk back just a little bit. Maintain the shoulder over top of that wrist. Nice square shoulders. Hinge, barehanded, and back up. Did that turn on those abs? Did that coach a nice strong position if we hold that in our rack or eventually in our overhead position? Stack the pinky over the elbow for strength and grip it with that pinky finger. From here, let's get into a set of some lunges. Yes, those lunges, the slow ones. So standing tall, step back into the step or drop back position. Gently tuck under the hips. As we descend in this lunge, Lauryn cues us to again pull in that front leg and extend that back hip forward. From here, nice and slow, push the floor away to stand up. Let's do that one more time, but a lot slower. Again, I need to make sure that that front knee stays vertical, so I'm going to adjust my stance just a little bit. And from here, we're going to take 10, 9, 8, and continue to extend this back hip here. Ooh, balance for 3, and 2, down. Now push the floor, front through the front, back through the back, come up tall, and finish underneath the body. Alternate to the other side. From here, we'll step back in our lunge, aiming for 90-degree angles when we're finished. Squeeze the back butt cheek and pull the front leg into that hip socket as this hip in the back goes forward. Continue to extend that hip through, keeping that as vertical as possible as we go down. Push the floor forward and back to stand up. And one more time, hips to level, pull the front leg into the hip as the back hip continues to extend forward, keeping that as vertical as possible. Hard for everyone. And nice and slow to the ground. Push forward, stand up, bring your leg underneath. We set up a nice way here to hold that kettlebell. Stack the wrist under or over the shoulder, and let's lift it up for our first little suitcase hold here today. Hip hinge, single hand on the bell. As we hinge, did we stay square? Preload with that armpit, preload the body by picking it up in a pretend fashion, and then lift it up. From here, I'm going to side step. We're aiming to hold in these low positions for up to 30 seconds today. Something I often like to do here is oversell the weight of the bell and pull on the alternate side. Let's push our feet out into the ground. Make sure we can breathe behind that shield. And for about 10 more seconds, we're building grip strength, core strength, and stability for the whole body. 3, 2, open your stance, set up your hinge, keep the alternate shoulder square, let go, and body weight up. No shake. Let's do the same thing on the other side. As we set up the hinge, stay square. As we grab for the bell, probably rotate towards the bell just a little bit, but not too much. And then pack the shoulder, preload, grab our tension, extend the hip. I'm going to sidestep again. And from here, holding for time. I feel pretty good with my position here, engaged all around. But again, you might oversell it to the one side and then whoa, use the unloaded side to stay tall. My feet are pushing in the floor. My glutes are squeezing. My core is bracing. I'm still breathing as well. Behind that shield. Let's continue these holds for 5 more seconds. 3, 2, and then we'll open the stance, set up the hinge, and the alternate shoulder to stay square as you return to the ground. Come up barehanded. Shake it out. Lunges for 1 more time. 2 only, but nice and slow. Nice and slow. So from here, we'll step back. Drop back or step back lunge. Scissor that floor from the get-go, and for 10, 9, continue to squeeze that back leg as you extend forward to the ground. From there, stand up tall without moving the feet. Check hips, little tuck, squeeze the back butt cheek, pull that front leg into that hip socket to help keep the front shin vertical. Nice and slow. Now push down to go up and through. 2 reps, other side. Step back, get tall. Squeeze the back butt cheek or extend that hip and compress in the front. And then, need a little bit more room here, I can feel it already. And for 10, 9, we're keeping that front shin as vertical, this back hip extended through, and that's where my shakes are gonna set in right about there. And then from here, we'll stand up tall, aiming to keep that front shin vertical. From here, squeeze the back butt cheek, extend the hip forward, but the front leg is pulling in as that back hip continues to push forward to the ground, and then press and stand tall. Yeah, I like to do our farmer carry or that low carry 1 more time. You might walk around your room with me or just stay put. Ground those feet, and if we're walking around, it's that space in between where we're looking to contain the wobble and stay nice and strong. Pick up my bell the same way. Setting up a hip hinge, my shoulders staying square, head, neck, tuck, and chin neutral. Pack shoulder, preload, to tall. Out to the side. We'll set that up, that we're pulling away from that kettlebell. And again, for about 30 seconds, here I go on a walk around the room. I'm gonna take some strides forward, and then some strides to the side. Then I might go backwards just a little bit, and then strides the other direction. And maybe 1 more if there's room, or set up that hinge, staying square, and body weight up. Little wiggle, same thing on the other side. Set up the hinge, vertical shin, shoulders stay square. Preload, to the top, out to the side, and again, walking that square with me, maybe walking backwards, keeping the ribs and hips down, and then from backwards, change your direction, in my case, sideways. Trying to take about 4 steps in each direction here, and I'm gonna go front. Keep the hips under the shoulders. That'll load your core. And then, last time lateral, hips underneath, breathing throughout. And then we'll set up the hinge. Ooh, I'm out of room. I set up my hinge to the side, set up the hinge. We'll cue that a little bit better the next time. We did lunges, thank goodness. But what about the squat? So here we go in our bodyweight squat for today. Open up your stance to your squat stance, slightly wider. What is a squat stance? That's a little bit up to you. It's your hips, your legs, your feet. But generally, turned out, kneecaps tracking over the first or second toe there, maybe even the third, some variation there. And our hips are gonna stay underneath of our body. For here, start pulling the floor together, but don't go anywhere quite yet. Relax. Push the floor down and away and feel glutes turn on, abs engage, and feel that connection to the floor. Wiggle that out. Now for 2 repetitions, super slow style, let's pull ourselves down and then power ourselves back up. Here we go. Take that breath to prepare. Pull the heels together. There's tension before you start moving. And then by pulling the heels together or into the floor, the knees might go over the toes. Let's continue to get to your safe flow. And then once we're there, we'll push our feet down and out, powering up, extending those hips at the top. Stay facing where you are. Let's pull those knees, pull the ankles together. Knees go towards over toes, staying nice and upright here. And then push the feet down and out, extending those hips all the way to the top. Heel toes in, a little bit of our wiggle. Let's go back to that kettlebell. Let's hold it again. Over the summer, one of our favorite holds became the window hold. Window hold is an extension of that goblet. If you've never done our goblet hold, visit those basics, give it a whirl, and if you have, follow me as we try to hold up that window. Setting up our hip hinge, we'll pull that to our goblet. In our goblet position, elbows underneath, shoulders in retraction. Follow me for about 30 seconds of looking through that window. I'm not seeing it now because I can't see the computer, but I know my battery on the computer is really low. So after this set, how are you doing? I'm gonna have to leave the set for a second and plug in the computer. Let's hold for about 5 more seconds. Can you talk while you do this? I want you to work at an exertion level where you could kind of barely talk, but making sure that you could, because you can breathe underneath of that shield. Here we go. We just gotta plug it in. 2 seconds. Wouldn't be very long. Have that sip of water. It doesn't reach from there. So let's just do a little one of these maybe. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I'm so sorry, everyone. Okay. Well, that's kind of what we have to work with for the next little bit. So let's just say that's it. Look at that angle right there. Okay, a little off kilter, but I'm really enjoying myself. I didn't want that to end. So, squats, those slow squats. Personally, I found myself a little bit too wide the last time to go any lower. So I'm gonna step myself in a little bit, and I might be able to actually get a little lower. So that will be more my goblet squat or my kettlebell squat stance. And from here, we'll still start by pulling those heels together and descending into your squat. I have to look forward here to stay balanced. And from here, once you're at your safe low, push your feet down and out, extend those hips, nice and tall, squeeze the cheeks, and shake it. One more time. Pull those heels in, hands in center as we sit towards our safe low position here. And then on those abs and push out to stand tall. Shake it out. 2 reps only. Oh, our supply teacher was so nice to us. Or sneaky. Think about strength, time under tension, with body weight or with your kettlebell. Always mix that up. Hinging, goblet hold, or the window. I'm not ready to walk around in my window. I don't think that's very safe. You still got to be able to see where you go. If you choose that window hold, stay stationary and really work on that brace like your plank. If you do choose to walk around your goblet, load your core by leaning forward just that little bit and drive your hips through on every step. Here I go, 30 seconds or so in the window hold. Setting up hinge. Pull the goblet, core tension, fully engaged. I'm just going to do a quarter turn here. Making sure that the elbows are underneath and that our rib cage is slightly forward relative to the front of the hips. Making sure you're not doing a back bend. The back bend would increase the longevity of your exercise, but I'm afraid decrease the longevity of your spine, and your spine is more healthy and happy if it's strong. So I need to pull that to the body, open my stance, set up my hinge, and return it to the floor. Okay, sorry, I got a little crazy there on the spine and the core, but that's the point of us working out, is to maintain the suppleness, like in our crawls and our bars, and also that strength that we can get from our kettlebell. We did 2 sets of lunges, 2 sets of squats. We're gonna finish with multiple sets of our hinge. So let's cue that up with a nice slow body weight version first. Again, I'll do that quarter turn. Setting up the hinge, chop those hips, vertical shins, butt back. Particularly today, we're gonna do a chop and pop. So let's take those hands and place them just about in line with the rest of your spine. Now stand up to tall. Once we're here in that chop and pop drill, the hands could lift or raise away from the body. And then we're gonna chop on those hips to the back, and then pop through. I'll have some soft elbows. We'll use this drill to coach the timing and the power behind our kettlebell swing. So shake it out. Let's do our first set of 5. Here we go. We will start with the hands out front, then bend the elbows and chop the hips and pop through. Chop the hips, pop through. Chop the hips, pop through. Chop the hips, pop through, chop, and last pop to the tall. Shake it out. Grip the floor, engage the core, and find a way to get that intensity and power into your swing. Let's do 5 more, just a little bit quicker, meaning once we're back, we're almost up. It's back up, pause. Back up, pause. Let's do 5 in a row. Chop and pop. Chop, pop. Chop, pop. Chop, pop. 2 more. Chop, pop. Last one for 5. And wiggle it out. We went low positions, cool. Mid positions, great. What about the overhead? Have you been there before? Let's do it. Overhead again, we want that same grip we set up with our hand, pinky side strong on the kettlebell. I'll take my other hand, wrap it underneath, pack shoulders, and pull to rack. In rack. From here, core brace, press. For my first set again, I'm just standing still. Standing still, finding my favorite place to put those feet, making sure this armpit is down, my rib cage is strong, connected to those abs, connected to those hips. Breathe. Is your wrist stacked? Are you gripping it with the pinky? Is the kettlebell heavy in your hand? We prefer that you feel heavy in the hand than heavy in your shoulder. We'll do this for 5 more seconds. Hold it safe, hold it strong, and then slow down the pull as you return to the rack position. Open stance, return to the floor, and again, barehanded on the up. Little wiggle in between. Set up that hinge, pull it to the goblet, to the rack, sorry. Press it to the ceiling. Change your base as you need. Pack that armpit down heavy and grip that kettlebell firmly. From here, again, making sure the shoulder's packed, push into those hips on both sides, cramp the glutes, brace those abs, and have I said it, crush with the grip, including that pinky finger. We'll hold it here for 10 more seconds, pushing the floor away to share that tension or return that load to ground. And in 3 seconds more, we'll slowly pull that down to the rack. Open your stance, return to the floor. Let's do 5 more pop and chops. Set up our hip hinge on 3, 2, chop, pop, chop, pop, chop, pop, chop, pop. And last one, and then shake. 5 more. Take that breath, chop, pop, chop, pop. chop and pop. Let's go 2 more. Last one. And shake it. I'm rattling something in that cage over there. Not sure what it was. Promise it's not Lauryn. Promise. Promise. You can't cage that person down. No way. We've done a bunch. I'd like to do the same, kind of coming right back down. So for me, I'm going to take that kettlebell overhead for 1 more set. Do another set of chop and pops. Then hold the kettlebell in a lower position. Quick set of chop and pop. And then last time in the low. With me? Let's go all the way back down. So set up that hip hinge. Pull to the racks position again. Press. For this set, I'll start to walk around. Again, walking front, holding overhead. Sideways gates, that's a fun one. We're always looking for that push of stability underneath. Walking backwards requires small steps, patience, and perception of where those edges are. And then, same thing, push and land underneath that kettlebell. And in 5 seconds or less, we'll pull that back down and then return to the floor. Same thing on the other side. Hip hinge, setting up right over top of that kettlebell. Tucking your chin to neutral, preloading, meaning pretend to lift it, and then wha-pow. Then wha-pow, press. Nice and slow. Again, about 30 seconds as we walk sideways. Maybe. Again, root those feet firmly into the floor. This does turn your abs on more, I find, but only if we have that stability and the awareness to make it safe, to stay strong. And then again, forward walk, or last time going sideways. And again, about 5 or 7 seconds to stay strong and stable under that load. Pull down to the ground. 5 pop and chops. So hinge, pop, and again, 2 more. And just again, a little wiggle in between. 5 more. Take a little breath to prepare, and we'll go chop, pop, chop, pop, chop, pop. 2 more. And last one. Let's go back to that kettlebell. Quicker rests on the way back down here. So again, we're looking to catch in that goblet hold or open the window and either let the breeze in or shoot up. Pack the shoulders, shoot for the stars, this is what I meant. Pack the shoulders, and again, look slightly ahead, slightly up, but again, making sure we don't load up the low back. Push those feet out into the floor. Squeeze the glutes. Bring those elbows underneath that kettlebell and hold for about 10 more seconds. For 5. I probably think that's a really quick 10 seconds. And then return to the body and return to the ground. For a final set of chop and pops, 10. 10, promise is the last one for today. Here we go. Inhale in, chop, pop, chop, pop. Abs at the top. Yeah. Get that timing of the breath. Lost track, we'll go 2 more here. Last one. And relax. There's so much to think about in that swing, including how many times you've done it. So hopefully that was close enough to 10. One last carry for today. We'll set up the hinge, either standing over your bell or just slightly lateral. The hinge, the pack shoulder, the square, to tall, to the side. And again for time, hold. Perhaps again, oversell that lean and then recruit back on that other side. Go for a little walk as you're allowed. And again, change the directions that you choose if you do. Fronts and backs, as well as side to side. We have about, I don't know, I can't see my second hand, maybe 3 more seconds. And then again, we'll set up our hinge, stay square, barehanded up, shake it and switch. Final time. Hinge, staying square, preloading, driving tall, side of body, calibrate that other side helps, and again, go for a walk, any direction. You don't need much room. 1 or 2 strides each way is all you need. Just enough room to go a little bit of somewhere and tell your body you got the strength, the stability to do it. 5 or 7 more seconds. Finish 1 more small lap around your room. And then, using that hip hinge, stay square on the opposite shoulder, barehanded, up. And shake. 1 more exercise for today, working on those lunges. 1 quick set. Here we go. Step back into the lunge and descend with control. 90 degrees and 90 degrees at the back. From here, we'll squeeze the back butt, squeeze it up, then press the front foot down and pull the heel back. Hopefully we feel nothing too aggressive or the whole body come forward. Keep the hips underneath the shoulders and the head. Stay and just chill. And in the back butt cheek, again, give it a good squeeze. Then press the front foot down and try to pull yourself even further forward. Squeeze your back butt cheek. Relax there if you can. And squeeze that back butt cheek and drive through the front foot so hard that you do end up moving backwards. But then we're making sure the hip on the other side stays forward as you push this way through the front for 5 more seconds and that way through the back for 3, 2, and stay and chill. 1 last challenge for that leg is, with our hips extended, to find the room nice and slowly to bring the other leg underneath. Same thing on the other side. From here again, leg through, approaching 90 degrees at both knees. Level those hips, give the back butt cheek a good squeeze. Pull the front heel down and then back, recruiting on that hamstring to let yourself go towards forward. Keep the back butt cheek squeezed or extended at the hip. Stay there, relax some tension. Again, squeeze the back butt, press down, pull yourself forward, taking time to get there. Relax just a little. Then squeeze or extend the hip on the back, push the front foot forward, and squeeze the back butt cheek as you push the front leg forward, challenging yourself to extend that hip and maintain an amazing lunge. And relax. Last challenge, bring that foot underneath, balance. I've done it better, I've done it worse. That's training, learning every time, making small improvements to feel big gains. Thank you very much for following along with me today. I know Lauryn will look forward to getting back to her usual schedule with her usual crew. So thank you so much again. My name is Ian. Thank you again, and we encourage you to train simple, stay strong, and take care. Goodbye.